What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew? This is Ball Hawk Ifata Melafonu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. It is Lions Talk Live. It is Saturday morning, and you know what? If you went to bed too early last night, you may not have seen the news last night, so we're going to get into that during the main topic of the day. Yes, as you can probably tell from today's thumbnail for the show, that Za'Darious Smith was at the Detroit Pistons game, and you know what? Of course, that's going to get the internet exploding. Hey, is he signed with Detroit? Is he going to be the new assistant GM? Is he going to be the new quarterback? Is he going to be the new running back? I don't know. Is he going to be a defensive end once again for the Detroit Lions? I guess everything is possible, right? What we do know is he's in town, and could it be just to visit his girlfriend, who does live in Detroit? Could it be that he's going to return to the Lions? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it during the main topic of the day. Before that, we've got the 5 headlines now. We got whatever the Duke Crew wants to talk about. Remember, in the offseason, on Saturdays and Sundays, they tend to be a little bit shorter, maybe not a full hour, maybe 49 minutes, maybe 50 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, whatever it is. We'll get to today's show, get through your questions, get through all the above, and get that show rocking and rolling. Before we do, though, take a moment in time. If you have not yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march for 13,600 subs. We're roughly, 91 subs away. Had to do the math real quick. Also, if you have a half second of time, it is free of charge. Doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down and hit that thumbs up button, that like button. Hit all the buttons, because every one we get helps the channel grow just that much more. If you can, we try to get every episode of the show between 2, 3, 400 or more thumbs ups or likes. So again, if you can help out, that would be great. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's have a conversation. See what I can do to save some time, some money, some effort, some hassles, whatever it may be. I've been in the industry for over 30 years, so if you want somebody to work on your behest, make sure you don't get overcharged by your lender. Make sure you don't get overcharged by this, that, or the other thing. Go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. Walk you through the process and try to take care of you. All right, with all that done, said, out of the way, let's get this show rocking and a rolling and a going and get you going into 5 headlines now. And I just got to find that button. All right, we've got 5 glorious headlines coming your way, starting off with intriguing mid-round draft prospects for the Detroit Lions. Story by Sue Levine of The Last Word on Sports. Don't get to good old Sue and The Last Word on Sports often, so I figured why not get over to them, see what they got to say. It's been some time. All right, day 2, 3rd round pick, 102. They're going to go with Josiah Stewart. We've talked about this prospect a few times on the show. Most of you know him from Michigan. Pass rusher, an edge, etc. I think there's more and more evidence that if he is available to the Lions at the right round, at the right pick, yes, the Lions are going to go for him. We've talked about this week how much the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes tend to, during his time here in Detroit, work off the top 30 prospects or 30 visits, whatever you want to call it, whether in person, virtual, etc. Lions are one of the most prominent teams in the entire NFL at selecting players. They have done those pre-draft visits with. Stewart, as we know, he's been through about 4 of them with Detroit, 2 of the top 30s, 1 virtual, and then a pro day. So they've invested quite a bit into him. It would make sense, in my opinion, too, just because what he brings to the table versus what the Lions need seemingly more of. I think the Lions are going to make a move for him. It just comes down to whether or not the value and the opportunity are there. Probably in round 3 is what I'm thinking. But who knows? Maybe the Lions pull off a trade or something and get him before somebody else does. What are your guys' thoughts? I know I've talked about him. It seems like a lot this week, but do you guys think he is a potential Lion pick? Let me know in the comments section. All right, next, good old Sue has day 2, round 4, pick 130, I should just say. TCU wide receiver Savion Williams in the 4th round would be a solid choice. I think most of us get it would appear the Lions are going to target adding some wide receiver youth during the draft, or maybe undrafted free agents or draft picks or whatever. Something like that makes sense. Let's also understand he is 6'4", roughly 220, 230 pounds. He's got 10.5-inch hands. I mean, that's pretty good size. There's a lot of good sides to him. Plus, he's got some speed, some bend, etc. If you guys saw the Lions go up to the board and take him in round 4, are you happy? Are you sad? Let me know in the comment section. But I do think he's got a lot of explosion. Like I said, he's got speed. He's got optimum size, especially for a John Morton style, what we're anticipating, I should say, out of a John Morton style offense with vertical threats going down the sidelines. Having a 6'4" guy with some wheels, with some hands, with some radius, and can get into the air, that might not be so bad. Looking at, I think those were probably the biggest ones to pay attention to. There are going to be some other ones we'll talk about in time. Defensive tackle Darius Alexander, somebody I throw at you. He is a little bit older at 24 years old coming into the draft, but another guy that seems to fit the prototypical Detroit Lions interior defensive tackle. He is 6'4", 320 pounds, etc. He's got 34-inch arms. Pay attention to him. He also had 40 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 7.5 tackles for loss. He also had a game-changing 58-yard interception return. So pay attention to that, as he can get out in space and motor a little bit. Check him out. Check all these guys out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Or it could be to the left or the right or whatever, depending on how you've set up your phone or tablet or TV or whatever. All right, Jameson Williams reminds in the next of the 5 headlines now. Jordan Addison, Lions receivers are best. Story by John Macron of SI.com. Coming to last year, there was speculation that the Green Bay Packers had the best wide receiving core in the NFC North. And then some would say maybe even the Chicago Bears. A few might have said, hey, how about the Minnesota Vikings? And we get it. They've got some talent there as well. But Jameson Williams and the Detroit Lions clearly feel like they are the best wide receiving core tandem, however you want to term it or word it, in the NFC North, and maybe one of the better ones in the NFL. What are your thoughts on it? Jameson Williams, we get it, man. He's been showing up at Tigers games, Pistons games, Red Wings games. He seems to be embracing the city of Detroit. And to be fair, him and other Lions players have done this for a season or two now, really supporting each other as they know those guys are coming over to Lions games and supporting them. Jameson Williams taking it to a little bit of another level, saying, hey, he came out in this story. He came out and said, hey, I'm planning on being here for a long time. I think we're that good. We've got the basis for something long-term here in Detroit, talking about the wide receiver room and the team overall. And he wants to remind Jordan Addison, who recently made some comments, he thought his team would have the best wide receiving core in 2025/6. Jameson Williams said, not so fast. He's planning on putting up even more numbers. We get it. He had his first 1,000-yard season a year ago. Well, you know what? He's talking about doing even more next year, wants to be more integral to the offense, wants to be a bigger threat, and wants to help play complementary role to a lot of the other parts of the offense. Let's be honest. He gets going. St. Brown gets going. Laporta gets going. Gibbs gets going. Patrick gets going. You can only double team so many people. You can only effectively stop so many people in today's NFL. Jameson Williams might be right. He might just be hitting a stride in the Lions. As far as currently, the 1-2 punch might be one of the more scary ones in the NFL at this time. I'm going to be looking forward to watching him in John Morton's offense this season. All right, The Athletic, 3-round mock. Lions add flexibility to the trenches. SB Nation, story by Eric Schlitz. And, hey, we get it. Lions are going to try to draft or sign, maybe, somebody who can come in and be a workout warrior for them, or maybe teach flexibility to these guys. I don't think that's where they're really going, as I try to make a pun and fun this morning. But setting the stage, they're talking about a number of different options. Let's start with where they have at round 1 for the Detroit Lions. Most of us probably wouldn't be upset with it, but they have Kevin Banks, the offensive lineman from Texas, coming in with the Detroit Lions' first overall pick at 28. You and I, we've talked about it for some time. I know there are some of you that think the Lions are going to trade back out of the first round. Could happen. I don't know. I'm still sticking my guns. I think the Lions are going to trade forward in the draft, probably somewhere into the high 20s, maybe into the teens, could be possible. But in this scenario with the Athletic, Kelvin Banks, hey, we get it, 6'5", 320-ish pounds, got big arms. He's just got a lot of upside. We'll put it that way. If the Lions go this route and they plug him in, I think, man, you look at the Lions offensive line for at least the next 3 to 4 years, and you'd have to say it's one of the youngest, one of the best in the NFL, assuming Banks does hold water and hold up to what everybody is expecting out of him. Because you put him in there, you put him next to, I don't know, Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow, and then if Christian Mahogany holds up to what we saw in bits last year, man, you look at that side of the line, those four, that's pretty dang good. Taylor Decker, I thought overall played very well last year. He had, I think, 2 games where I thought, man, he had some moments where it didn't look so great. But upon further review, I would say some of that is miscommunication between Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow, where they just weren't on the same page, and maybe Decker took more of the heat for it. All right, moving on to round 2, they got JT. Boy, I'm going to kill this last one. Tumalovo, edge out of Ohio State, 6'4", 265 pounds. What do the Lions need? They need big defensive ends, or I should say they want bigger defensive ends who can stuff the run, elite edge setter, which I think if you've watched Ohio State this year, you can say JT is a pretty good edge setter in the run game. Now, can he get more to the quarterback? I think if the Lions don't change their philosophies, then really they're looking for guys that get in there, stop the running aspect, and then push the pocket so other people can get after the quarterback or themselves. Round 3, feels like we keep talking about him. Josiah Stewart, edge out of Michigan, who played the Sam, backing up Derek Barnes. So that's what they've got for the top 3 for us. What do you guys think? The Athletic, like a lot of other people, seem to have some similar values and grades and ideas on who the Lions are going to take, which means we're probably going to be ultimately wrong on it, and Brad Holmes is going to go in a completely different direction. All right, Lions, in the next of the 5 headlines now, Lions might see, quote, Plan B in 2025. Draft target morph into a perfect fit. Sideline report by Max DeMar. Good old Mad Max himself. He's got a plan B for us, and let's go into it. I think most of us get it. We've got ideas of who the Lions going to get. We've all talked about it. In here, he's got the Lions going with a plan B, and that's Princely. I'm just going to kill that last name. Unomanian offers the Detroit Lions an underrated fit down draft board. And for those who don't know, he's from Ole Miss. At least in 2020, he came on strong. He posted 37 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He is 6'4", and the kid's got some size. So what do the Lions want? They want size. They want bigger ends. We all get it. And again, this is all predicated on the idea that Kelvin Shepard isn't going to change the overall principle and schemes that you've seen the Lions use the last several years. I wouldn't be upset with this pick. I get it. He's probably like a round 3, round 2 pick. I don't think he would go round 1, but you know what? My draft board's been wrong before, so we'll see what shakes out there. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. 4 Lions players who may not make 2025 53-man roster. It's the AP Wire by DT. And you know what? There probably are some guys that are on the bubble. We get it. The Lions have 47 billion people under contract right now. And yes, that's a joke. I do want to say the official number is getting close to 75-ish, right around there. And you think about it, that means 20 guys are already off the board. You've got 7 draft picks. If the Lions hold on to all 7 draft picks, you know what? Even more people are going to get cut. But let's walk through the list and see what you guys have to say. We'll do it one at a time. Graham Glasgow, I do think there's a possibility he gets cut. That's the first person on here. But I think that would be more of a reflection of the team looking over and saying, Sorsdale and Manu are ready to go. Manu, if he somehow cracks the lineup, then you know what? Everybody who was poo-pooing last year's draft probably has to take a deep breath and look back and say maybe Brad Holmes' Lions actually knew what they were doing. Because if you go to last year's draft, obviously we got a kicker, and yes, we didn't draft him. Jake Bates, one of the better and bigger young legs in the NFL. Terrion Arnold, starting cornerback. Ray Straw, wait and see what happens, but if he does get on the field next year, you know what? That draft starts looking pretty good. Mahogany, at least in the 3 games he played last year, looked like an elite player. Let's remember his PFF grades. 2 of them were 92 or above. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right, which means he was elite. The other one I want to say was like an 87, so nearly elite. If they just, between TA and Mahogany in last year's draft, considering where they were drafting, they just hit on those guys. That's a pretty good draft. Now, if Manu comes in and starts and he looks anything like they're talking about, whew, now you really got to chew some bubble gum and say, man, this ain't too bad. And then obviously if Rakes comes in and starts and plays well, now that draft's looking dang solid, let alone if someone like, Wingo comes in and is productive, adding to the team, or Baki or whatever else. That draft, even though everybody gave it low grades because, these guys aren't starting, what happens when you don't rely on rookies to come in and make a big difference? It means your team's pretty solid. It's pretty stacked. And if some of those guys have to wait a year or two to really get on the field, that means your team is doing probably the right stuff. So Graham Glasgow, in that scenario, some of these younger guys are developing. He's probably on some thin ice. The next one, I already know the comment section is going to be all over. Broderick Martin. Yes, he is the man-child. Yes, he's the athletic freak. But you look at Mekhi Wingo we just talked about. We look at Lee McNeil when he gets back, probably, late October, November. You look at Petty O'Connor, that crazy Irishman out there. DJ Reader, and Lopez, amongst some of the other guys on there. That defensive tackle spot's pretty stacked. And if we add more to it during the draft, it's going to be even more stacked. You can't keep everybody. Maybe some of them, man, I didn't even mention Levi Onwuzurike. Maybe some of them slide over to the big end spot. I guess that's possible. Levi did do it last year. Wingo did do it at times last year. But Broderick Martin's in a tough spot, man. He's fighting for his life here in Detroit. I got to imagine he's very aware of it. It sounds like Brad Holmes earlier this week had some conversations with him. And as Brad Holmes would term it, we were very transparent about what our thoughts are regarding Martin. So the word transparent, man, that's just a good way of saying, man, we told him, you got to step on up or you're out of here. At least that's the way I read it. All right, next on the list we have here is Hendon Hooker. As much as I don't want to say it, I will say it that Hendon Hooker probably is in a similar situation. They signed Adams, and not that contract's anything. You can move on from that contract in a hot minute, but you did see last year they brought in Teddy Bridgewater. I understand why maybe Bridgewater got the backup spot, the number 2 spot in the playoffs. He's got experience. Hooker doesn't. But at some point, it is what it is. Hooker's probably fighting a little bit for his life here in Detroit. Somebody gets drafted, and this will be the big thing. And one of those draft days, if we select another quarterback and it's round 4 or 5, 6 or something like that, that probably needs to be the real big warning shot across the bow for Hendon Hooker that, man, something ain't right. It ain't working out. And we want more opportunities or competition in that preseason stuff. All right, Kobe Scoresdale, already talked about him a little bit. Man, Dan Skipper coming back was probably a big slam on Scoresdale. It's nothing against Scoresdale. It's nothing against Skipper. I like Skipper. Y'all like Skipper. But the fact that one of your younger draft picks might be on the outside looking in. I don't know. If they move on from Glasgow, though, I think that probably helps good old Colby out somewhat. But I do think Manu is probably more groomed for the interior or guard spot. Scoresdale, if you remember, I want to say it was rookie to play some games as the guard and did not look good. At least, I get that was over a year ago. He's probably been coached up a little bit. The former 5th-round pick is a player that is entering his 3rd year, sort of like Broderick Martin. And we are a real deep team. We got a gajillion people signed under contract. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. And that's just the nature of life. Will Colby be on the 53 at the end of the preseason? I think that's one of the bigger questions out there, along with Broderick Martin. All right, let's see. That's it for the 5 headlines now. Let's get over to the main topic of the day. Always like that beat, man. Always like it. All right, former Lions edge rusher, Za'Darious Smith is currently in Detroit. Sounds like he's spending the weekend there. And again, just to preface this, his girlfriend is from Detroit, lives in Detroit. He was at a Pistons game. Could it be that he's here to re-sign with the Lions? Could it be he's just hanging out with his girlfriend, being a good boyfriend? Everything can be true. Everything can be wrong. What we do know is the following. He was due roughly 11 to 12 million this upcoming year. Lions moved on from him, to save money, save about $6 million in cap space. At the annual league meetings, Lions GM Brad Holmes explained what he thought behind the move of dropping Smith was, and kind of did hint a little bit about potentially resigning him. Quote from Brad Holmes: "Yeah, look, it was amicable parting ways with Smith. The decision. We couldn't afford it. It's bottom line. That it was my communication with him, and he understood it. Holmes said, "We would love to have him return to Detroit, but we just weren't able to at this time. But we've been keeping in touch with his agent, and he understands the process." So to me, that's a great statement. Both sides understood why it was. Nobody was upset. I don't get the impression, and I don't know Za'Darious Smith personally, but paying attention to his mannerisms, whether in Cleveland or here or in the past, to be honest, with every NFC team, he seems like a pretty level-headed dude. He seems like he's not someone who gets overly emotional for the most part. He's also been in the league, over a decade. He knows the process. He knows the game. And right now, what's he doing? He's just taking his time, enjoying life, and knows that somebody's going to call and get him. Now, maybe the Lions and Brad Holmes already have worked out some sort of conversation about him resigning. Hey, maybe after the draft or whatever it may be, the longer he is a free agent, the more likely I do think he is going to return to Detroit. Somebody else hasn't snagged him up at this point. I think you're looking at him resigning, and the fact that every athlete knows you go out to one of these sporting events, cameras are on you, the speculation is going to be on you. You know what you're doing. You know what's going to come with it. Shows like this are going to air on YouTube or, WXYZ in Detroit or whatever. The question's going to be thrown out there. So with that being said, your agency or your representation is also aware of it. They're putting it out there. They're helping to play the game of chess with you guys as far as trying to set up a potential signing or return to Detroit. So I guess I asked the question, do you guys want him to resign? Do you not want him to resign? Let me know in the comments section. And let's get over to the Duke Crew right now. I think that if you can resign Za'Darious and get him on not a killer contract, something that's a little bit more team friendly, let's be fair. I think that's the only way they do bring him back. Then you look at him, Hutch, halfway through the season, Aleem, DJ Reader, Levi Onsarike. I actually like Alaquin Muhammad, so I'll throw him in there. And then whatever we draft, that's pretty good. And then throw in, Lopez too, maybe Adams or whatever in there too. But that's a pretty good rotation. You add 2 good rookies, which I do think we're going to add 2 rookies to the defensive line. If they've got some real promise, if they got some panache, they develop, then that defensive line ain't too bad, at least on paper. So anyways, let's go to the Duke Crew, get to the top of the screen and see what you guys have to say. Won't be here for a long time. I got to drive all the way up to Jenison today to show some houses. JDC, morning all, back at you. JDC, Z Factor, and Z Boom could be the Z Factor. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Ready for Z Boom? Question mark. Woo! I am. You know what? And I kind of, just because I know Pierce is going to ask about this, it's not fully done, but I've been working on something for you.
Everybody. Woo!
I still got to edit it. But, hey, it's a work in progress. So, yeah, I'll keep working on it over the weekend. Berg time. Good morning, Dan. The man, go Lions. Woo! Back at you. Berg time. Good morning, JDC. Hope all is well. JDC, Berg time. Likewise, Kimosabe. 5 fingers ready. What's up, Berg time? Question mark. I'm loving it if we can re-up Smith for a year or two, like what he brings. Yeah, I like what he brings too, man. I think he's got a lot of great qualities about him, not just as an athlete, but as a human being. Yeah, I would not be upset if we went out and got him. JC, if they sign as a factor, question mark, all will be right with the world. Probably true. Probably bring the world into world peace and hunger and all that kind of stuff. Berg time. Good morning, 5 fingers, Freddie. Berg time. I agree. Hope Lions bring him back. He has great energy for the team and seems to fit right in. Yeah, he does, man. I agree 100%. He does seem like a prototypical type of Detroit Lion. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and Dooku. What a team. What a podcast. What time be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you. Hopefully it is a phenomenal day. Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. We need more rush, so get that bad boy back to us. Bad boy Pistons. I see what you did there. So, Samo, bring him back to help mentor any rookies we snag in the draft. Yeah, 100%. You could see him his very first game on the sideline with Detroit's down in Texas. When we were playing the Texans, he was sitting there trying to talk to the guys, trying to add some wisdom and stuff. I think you're spot on with that, and I think, you do a good job with it. All right, Henry Moore, Z-Man back with Detroit. Sounds good to me. He was a presence on the field that had to be accounted for. Yeah, 100%. I think he's got the skills, he's got the tools, he's got the talent. It's Z time. Pat, we've been talking about moving up in round 1. What all would we trade to get up into the teens? I guess how far into the teens, but let's just go do this. We're at 28 now. Let's just say it's to 19. I think you're probably giving up 2 second-round picks. Maybe a first. I don't see the Lions giving up a first-round pick next year in 2026. I could see potentially them giving up a second-round pick, but knowing Brad Holmes, all right, we'll swap first. I'll give you a second, but you're giving me a fourth-round pick or fifth-round pick in return. Okay, see-tastic news. Hope it's true grit, 100%. Hope he does sign, but again, for those who are going to say, it's just his girlfriend in town, I get that, 100%. But I also know that they went out there knowing that those cameras would be out there and the conversation would be going. Nothing like that happens without recourse or, a cause and effect, however you want to term it. And him and his representation would know that going out to a Detroit Pistons game and, the fact that he's potentially resigning with Detroit would kick up that conversation. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, fire Yzerman. Well, boy, I thought the Red Wings were doing well. Maybe not. Maybe I haven't really paid attention. I am going to be paying attention to Western Michigan hockey tonight. Bo, there's always a need for veteran leadership on a team. Z brings it. I concur. Burger time. Good morning, brother Hookadoo. Hope you're doing well, bud. I agree. Dave Smith has a lot of, quote, Lions qualities about him. If he doesn't resign now, I bet he does over the summer. Yeah. I would say you get through the draft, especially if the Lions feel like there's area or opportunity to improve that pass rush still. Yeah, you're looking at getting them. Hookadoo, top of the morning, Berg time, one pride. You got to love the pride. Berg time, I would love to see Smith and Hutch on the field together. Me too, man. And again, not to overburden a rookie, and maybe the rookie's just, great, but I do think if you can put Smith out there with Hutch, yeah, that would be a pretty nice front four. Voltron, hey, coach, thank you for your other show. Hey, no worries, man. Been learning a lot and watching, made some cash thanks to the last 2 weeks. Yeah, no worries, man. The markets, as I'm sure most of you know, have been very volatile the last couple weeks. And if you're a day trader, it's been great. If you're not, it's probably been okay. But yeah, glad you like it, man. Stop by anytime and learn. JDC, Lions fanatic, Berg time. Yep, at the same time. There you go. Hookadoo, Berg time. The defense would be like we can't double team them both and crushing edge team rush crush. How about that? Oh yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, I would like the front four when healthy. Ali McNeil, DJ Reed, maybe Levi Onwuzurike on passing downs, and then Smith and Hutch. I think that would be a pretty good pass rush. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Just keep adding talent to the team in free agency or the draft. Let the team get stronger and deeper. Yeah, and I do think, I know we talk about it a lot on the show. I do think this is going to be by far the deepest Lions team I've ever lived through. Burger time. Can't wait for the season. Love Lions football. You got like 4 more months until training camp. So it is, even though it doesn't feel like it's right here, it will be here before you know it. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. There you go. Just screening salutations, Dooku. If we can add him back to the roster and pick up 2 solid rookies, then I'm thinking our D line is pretty legit. It may be too legit to quit. Drake, good morning all, and same to you. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Working a double today, so just stopping in to say hi. Go Lions. And hey, have a great day working. I'll be kind of up your way here in about an hour and a half or so. Good morning, Stephanie. Heck of a way to come back from vacation. Yeah, they probably no rest for the wicked, right? France, nothing better than Lions Talk Live during your day. Question for all. What wide receiver do we add in the draft? There's so much speculation where we could go this way, that way. There are some real good options, especially in the mid to late rounds. I don't think we're going to have to reach to try to get somebody of interest. I think there will be some guys we can get in round 4, 5, or 6 that really, if your idea is to have them be the number 4 or 5 receiver this year, kind of grow and develop, mature, yeah, they could be paying big dividends by the 2nd or 3rd year. All right, Art, let's see. I thought releasing Smith was an idle brain move, so I hope they do resign him. Me too, man. Me too. Especially considering what he brings to the table. I get wanting to save money. It's the unfortunate side of the salary cap. You can't pay everybody, but I hope they do bring him back. Let's see. Carrie, what do you got? Good morning, crew. Told you Smith had a gentleman's agreement. You could be spot on with that. If you watch his video, and not that he's probably stressed. I mean, I don't know his financial situation. Hopefully he's taking good care of his cash, but he just seems like a laid-back cat, an easygoing dude. When he's on the field, he flips the switch and gets after it, but I like him a lot. I hope we do keep him. Clark, yo, Duke Crew, exclamation point. Woo! Get Smith back on the attack, Don Dokken style. Don Dokken. Wow, now that is an 80s throwback. I think the band Dokken is still touring in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. JDC, Stephanie Water, be safe and don't let the idiots of the world get you down. I can imagine more often than not in her profession. Let's be honest, man. If you're in law enforcement or first responders, you probably 90% of the time deal with people that, hey, there's a reason why you're being called to that situation. Gary, now for Harmon and Ivy. Ooh, I wouldn't be upset with that. If we could get Smith and those two, yeah, that's probably a pretty good day. Big Eddie, greetings, Sanitations Coach. I think you need to do the live stream of the draft, in your opinion, laughing out loud? Yeah, I'm probably not, man. I know I did it a couple years ago, and I did it for a few years. It's just there's so much downtime, and it would be different if there's 2 or 3 of us where everybody's sharing ideas. When it's just me talking and we got to wait 15 minutes per pick, it's just too much downtime for me, man. I'll leave that to more interested parties. Server, good morning, Coach and everyone, and same to you. JDC, Drage 4 rocks, and you know what? Of course, he rolls. Server. Oh, let them all go, Stephanie. Amen. I'll go with that. Phil, good morning. Same to you. Robert, greetings. Susan, good morning. Duke Crew, Add Smith and Draft Green. I know there'll be people pushing for that. Green, obviously very athletic. Pierce Jr., obviously athletic. Whether or not that's where they go, who knows, man. JDC, tick, tick, tick. Woo! Time. There we go. Gary, Green would be good, but I like Harmon more. All right. We'll go with Harmon it is. Joe C, man. Good to see you, man. It feels like it's been a minute. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. How has it been? Question mark. I think he would be a good sign for the right price. I agree with that 100%. Man of Steel, Kurt Steele. What up, though, Duke Crew? What's up with you? Justin, so did he resign or he didn't resign? He's in town, that we know. We don't know if he's resigned yet, Justin. Let's see, Carrie. Good morning, Kurt. There you go. Kurt, Big Z in Detroit with his girlfriend, rapper Cash Doll. Yes, indeed. And I think she lives in the Bloomfield Hills area, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't really know. Raw Detroit, he will have to sign $5 million or less to return Za'Darious Smith. Woo! In the words of Ric Flair. You know what? Hey, you want a Ric Flair? I'll give you a Ric Flair. How about I just got to scroll around and find 1, 2, and a 3. And there you go. Justin, I seen he was at the game, but seen this and thought he actually resigned. Yeah, it's all speculation, Justin. I know there are reports out on it this morning or last night. How about this? When I got ready for the show this morning. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. I am not aware if he's resigned. I know he's in town. And again, if you're doing that, if you're going out to the game, you're getting in front of the cameras, you know where the speculation for everybody's going to take it. Silver, Coach, I said that the moment he was released, they might have had a plan already. Who knows? His girl's in Detroit, though, so it might just be that. Perhaps over would make sense after the draft. Yeah, I do think, I know a number of you have speculated it since he's been released that maybe there's already an agreement in place for him to return. I would not be shocked by that. He does seem like a good fit here. It does sound like whenever he talks about Detroit, he enjoys it here. He really likes it. Yes, there's the aspect of the girlfriend, so that, don't mistaken it. That probably plays a factor. I got offered a college coaching job about 2 weeks ago, and I had to turn it down, unfortunately, because I love the school, love everybody there. The fact that it's like an hour and 45-minute drive there and then back. Yeah, the wife would have probably shaved my head if I would have taken it, but it was nice to be offered it. Hookadoo. Joseph C., it's been nice to see you back. Exclamation point. How did that work out with your puppy dog? Yeah, how did it work out? Raw Detroit, Josiah Stewart is a dog. I concur with that. Great assessment, man. Rick the Met, good morning, Dan and crew. Back at you. Rick, how is the Met today? Joe C., I got him back, and he's doing better. Exclamation point. Thanks for asking, Hookadoo. 100%. Yeah, glad to hear, Joseph C. Phil, that's great, Joseph C. Yeah, I concur. Joseph C., man, it took a lot out of me, and it took a lot out of him. I'm sure it did. No questions there. Raw Detroit, yeah, they normally sign players from the top 30 visits. Correct. And I do believe, and I don't have it in front of me in today's notes, Raw, I do believe that they're like number 1 or number 2 in the league as far as during, Brad Holmes' tenure at signing top 30 visits. So when the Detroit Lions bring people in, they don't, they're not trying to do this direction. I know a lot of people in national media were all over that saying, man, they're only talking to Gibbs because it's a misdirection move. They don't want you to know where they're really going. Well, guess what? It wasn't a misdirection move. Let's see. Joe C., thanks, Phil. Raw Detroit, Derek Harmon, or Ty Robinson would be good pickups in the draft. I agree. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Silver Coach, have you seen halfback Jacquez Hunter from Auburn? 5'9", 212 pounds with vision and wheels. Waist, no movement, fluid, powerful in his smooth, long speed. Got to call Dan Campbell. Hey, put in the call, see what he says, Silver. JDC, Lane Bowfield, home of the Lamers. There you go, Mr. Ed. Good morning, Dan and Cruz. Same to you. Joseph C, can't wait to see who we get in the draft. Exclamation point. Do y'all think that we stay at pick 28, or do you think we trade up or down? I personally think, Joseph, we are trading up. I know I have speculated pick 15 for a multitude of reasons. They need picks. I think the salary cap situation, a lot of things come into play there. But I'm not the only idiot who can see that. There are going to be other teams trying to probably move up to that spot. I think it just comes down to how much they want. Now, there's some other teams I think you can massage some trades with. To me, that just seems like the best fit between what both parties need. Gary, I trust in Brad and Dan's picks no matter who they are. I'll go with that. Yeah, they've earned that trust at this point. Johnny V, greetings, salutations, Lions fans. First round, long snapper, second round punter, third round kicker, fourth round return specialist. Hey, that is a bold strategy, Johnny V. Tay Main, all good. Good. Hey, good to see you as always, my friend. Good morning, Duke Crew. Let's go, Lions. And good signing by the Detroit Lions. Let's hope they do sign him. I do personally think, I know a number of you talk about it. I do think that there's probably some sort of conversation that's already happened with Za'Darious about return to Detroit. Let's see, One Pride. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Love the confidence of JMO. Also, how about the young man donates his bonus? Guy makes making steps in the right direction for sure. Yeah, and the wise word wisdom of Scott Mitchell will always ring in my head. Maturity isn't an age; it is a destination. And what I think, and you can have your own opinion. Some of you hate JMO. I get it. You want him out of here. I can only tell you what my thoughts are. I like the kid. I think every year you see him here in Detroit, he's a little more mature. He's a little bit more grown up. You know what? He's not the whatever he was, 20-year-old that he was drafted 3-4 years ago. He has gotten better. I can only speak for my life. I know when I was his age when I got drafted, I probably made some stupid moves. I probably did some things I shouldn't have. But that shouldn't define you the rest of your life. Now, has he done anything over the top egregious? No. And in fact, most of his transgressions, the NFL or somebody else come back and said, it's really not a big deal. So I get some people want to boil him in oil. I think, man, when I look at him, I see endless opportunity and potential with the kid. I think he hopes, just keeps going in the right direction. I hope he's aligned for life. All right, Joe C. Ogadoo, the boiled chicken helped him out as well. There you go. Sir, man, some of this mock drafts are ridiculous. So they have no clue about Detroit. If Lions pick offensive line the first, I'd be almost shocked. We'll see what happens, man. What I can say is I agree with you, Silver. I do think a lot of mocksters who aren't Detroit area mocksters or mock drafters, however you want to term it, they pick stuff that really Detroit Lions would never do for a personality standpoint, yada, yada. You get it. Okay, that's great for dogs. Joe C, that's easy for dogs to digest. Pierce, and good morning, Duke Cruz and Dudettes. Coach, the daily reminders, I did get, I don't know if you saw it. Here we go.
Everybody. Woo!
I have enough time, you'll say, but I'll take care of it over the weekend. It's close. It's closer than it was before. Pierce, Silver, I'd only be shocked if we went receiver or safety in the first. That might be true. Yep, Josie, that might just happen. Silver. Pierce, please say someone by the name of Marcus and Davenport on the list of potential cuts. I don't know, man. His contract is just so low. Who knows, Pierce? Maybe they do. Miles Mark, good morning, Coach and crew. I have rotten cell bandwidth, so way behind, but hope Lions keep Z. By the way, JG rocks, and he rolls, baby. Jared Goff. Hookadoo. Miles Margaret in the house. Glad you're back. Camper Grit. There you go. Frank the Tank. First of all, they are not getting rid of Glasgow. We'll see, man. I have no idea, man. That's the story. Pierce, also back in the cut list is someone by the name of Broderick and Bus Martin on here. He is on that list for sure. Frank Think, first round pick for the Detroit Lions. I see the Boston College edge rusher. Can't say his name. Yeah, me either, man. Although, let's be fair. If you watch the show more than 15 minutes, you're probably aware I murder people's names on a regular basis. Silver Server, if Rakestraw is not going to be the next Iffy, meaning he can stay regularly healthy, he will be an asset for the team. Let's hope so. Go Lions, 100%. Pat, Williams, the wide receiver, has really bad hands, drops a lot of balls, no thanks. All right, yeah, and you would have to take him, obviously, Pat, with the idea that you could coach him up, but I don't know that part. I don't know him that well. Mr. Ed, could Broderick Martin move over to offensive line? Do you want to get Jared Goff killed? I guess that would be my question. I don't know, Ed. That's a good question. Frank Ting, Detroit Lions are not getting rid of their players or trade in anybody. Okay, fair enough. Joe C, I would love to see us get Jared Ivey in the first round. I think a lot of people would. Berg time. Donovan E, Frank Think, yeah, I think that is him. Silver Sir, I'm pretty sure the Lions will go defensive tackle early. It's a need. Reader, 1 year left. Lopez, 1 left. Pascal, 1 left. Miles, whoever, 1 left. Other than Aleem and Broderick, all the defensive tackles are on their last season. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Frank Tank Smith's in Detroit, hanging out with his girlfriend. You all? Yes, he is. I'm sure he is. Miles Meyer. Hi, Hooks. Indian River got hit hard. Torn trees, shattered branches, but real positive folks. Hey, keeping on them up. Free firewood, I guess, is how I would look at it. Kerry, let's go Lions. Manu, show the crew what you can do. Believe in Brad's picks after you see the development in one season. Yeah, and I can only speak for myself. I like the progression I saw from Manu last year, but there's also a lot of the season we couldn't see him. Pierce, whoever said it earlier this week, I'm convinced they're right. Smith just doesn't want to go to training camp. That could be possibly it. Yeah, and given his age, given his time in the league, I would respect that. I get that. And it wouldn't be unheard of by any means. Maybe show up like the last week of training camp. Jay Schultz, I've always liked Z's game. Hope he land him. Me too. Hookadoo. I was wondering how hard Indian River got hit. Miles Martyr. Bo, a lot of veterans hold out of summer camp. Yes, they do. Silver Surfer, Zaboom back, exclamation point. Never enough good players on the team, and most importantly, grown men. Indeed. Joseph C. would like to see what he could do with Hutch. I think a lot of us would. I think you're right with that. Mr. Ed Dan would draft another tight end or speed on the outside. I think both are options. Rick in the Met. Miles Margaret, really bad here around Walloon Lake. Will still got some outages. Yeah, and I think there's still some in the UP and Northern Michigan for sure. Pat, please no tight end. We have 2 good ones. No need to draft another one. All right. Gary, Martin and Sorsdale need to show growth or $2. Yeah, they'll be gone for sure. Miles Martin, Ike Mitt, east of Wolverine here. Hope your chainsaw sharp. Very good. Rick the Met. Yep, same to you, laughing out loud. Amy, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Gosh, I hope Z does resign. Woo! And back at you, ZD. What do you got? Isaac Tesla, wide receiver from Hudsonville, Michigan, 6 for 4. Hey, I'll check him out. Mr. Ed, best time to re-sign Smith would be the day before the draft. That will shake up other teams. It would indeed. Dockin, let's go. Yes, indeed. They're back on the attack. Henry, I'm okay with Big Z. Nothing wrong with having depth. Nothing wrong with that. Tim Thornton, my brother, JT Timmerman, had 15 sacks last year. Yes, he did. Let's see. Hookadoo, Miles Mara. My family had a farm east of Indian River. I think it was often. Could be. Yeah, that I don't know. Off the top, let Brad cook, and he's cooking right now, I suspect. Just see everyone have a nice day. God, good to see you and talk to you all again. Exclamation point, go Lions. Woo! One pride, baby, and back at you. Bad at life, the real draft surprise. Detroit Lions select me. I can hand out water and towels like no one else. Hey, you got to start somewhere. Work your way up the food chain, right? Frank, think Detroit Lions fans need to get out of the clouds? Okay, we'll stop flying. Miles Meyer, y'all for the puppies. Yes, Joseph C. Detroit Tigers is number 1 in their division. Hex, yes. Yeah, I seen they've been on a bit of a streak. Joseph C., thank you, Miles Meyer. Frank, think Detroit Lions will trade out of the first round. I'll bet you $1. Go Lions. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I think there is some potential for that for sure. They could end up with 2 or 3 second-round picks. Let's see. Miles Meyer, Hookadoo. That sounds right. Hit hard there, too, all the way from Petoskey to Rogers City. Yes, indeed. Hookadoo, I like Jamo just needs to grow up. Yeah, and I think every day, you know what? He's taking another step forward. Miles Meyer, me too. Hook, off the top. We don't know how the draft may fall. We may or may not get who we want. Either way, let Brad cook. Yeah, I'm going to trust in what he does. Silver Servant, love them, dude. That's you got to love them. Let's see. East Side, Detroit, D-line injuries equals defensive tackle or edge, number 28 pick. There you go. Gary, what do you got? Excuse me, Corey. I feel like if a guy is not pulling some Cam Sutton stuff, then just judge him from what they do on the field. Their personal life is their business. Yeah, and I do think, there's a couple of them that are growing up and maturing. Keegan, good morning, coach and crew. They better resign Za'Darious Smith. I think they will, man. It's my personal belief. I've been wrong before. Coach Rock, good morning, all. Stick as a dog, so if I say something wrong, just blame it on that. Go Lions. Yeah, I'll go with that. Hopefully you feel better, man. Southwest, Duke crew, woo! Hit them likes, but yeah, if you would, thank you very much. Southwest Cash Dow is keeping Z Smith in Detroit. Now, that could be a contributing factor. You are not wrong with that. Like I said, got offered a job over on the east side coaching a college team, but I couldn't take it because at least my version of Cash Down would have put the big hammer down on me. Coach Rock, Miles Marker, the area looks so sad. It looks like a plane clipped all the tops of the trees, and the bark is torn off, looking sad. Yeah, I've seen photos of a lot of the upper area, and yeah, no doubt, man, you guys got hit hard. Brian, Z equals Super Bowl. Woo! I'll take that. Mr. Ed, it's true Brad will be a guest on Lions Talk Live soon. I don't know. I do not have him on the schedule as of yet. Let's see. Jay Schultz, what do you got? Have a great Saturday, everybody. Back at you. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions victory. Mood Scar, morning all. Just stopping by. Good to see you, my friend. Gary, Corey, what do you got? Cash Down would definitely keep me in Detroit. Understandable. Very understandable. Miles Barker, good morning, Rock. Hope you feel better soon. I concur. Carrie, what do you got? Love this chat, Dan. Best online chat anywhere. Hey, thanks for that. The Duke crew is pretty awesome, man. Bo, happy trails, Duke crew. See you later. I see what you did there. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible when I get back from Jennison, at least. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy your day. Be a good human being. Do something kind for someone you don't know. If you would be so kind before checking out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care, and we'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Have a good day, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donation to the Reverend Moon? Juice for Jesus?
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Of Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?